To try and characterize Taiwanese artists is an almost impossible task. But I would say there's been a flexibility and a generosity and openness that I have seen from pretty much all of the Taiwanese artists and curators that have come.
I moved actually to New York very recently, only 3 years ago, from the UK. And in the UK I had the privilege of working with amazing Taiwanese artists when I was the director of the Liverpool Biennial. Coming here to New York and knowing that the Queen's Museum had an already established relationship with the ministry, but also with many artists and curators living and working in Taiwan and also living and working in New York, was super exciting to me.
How do we learn as much from you and you learn from us? And it's always opening up new thoughts about how to proceed. So this has always been with me, this idea that we look at all the arts all the time, like a big lighthouse that just keeps going round and seeing what's going on in the culture. We don't separate, we don't put art here and painting here and video and so on, but rather looking across disciplines. You know, just in that 5 artists, there was such a wonderful range of generations, media, thinking processes, references, each one so different.
It has been our pleasure to have Taiwanese writers and Taiwanese artists in our community. There have always been a strong artistic thread with a particular vision that they want to share. And I think they bring in a perspective that is not held by other people. And that is essential to the international quality of our program. We wouldn't be a complete program, I think, if we didn't have artists and writers from Taiwan.
Every book we present at the festival has to stand at the festival as an important book. The festival has presented thousands of writers from almost 100 different countries. One of those countries we have presented authors from is Taiwan. In the last decade, we presented 3 different authors from Taiwan.
We have a deep history with Taiwan. 20 years ago, we presented Taipei Crossover Dance Company. We then presented Cloudgate, then LAFA, and the companies from Taiwan. We want to introduce them to our audiences because they are an opportunity to have cultural exchange, to understand where these artists come from. Every time we welcome a company from Taiwan, it means that we learn something about another culture, another part of the world.
Taiwanese films, whenever we would put a program, always be well attended and well received, both from the audience standpoint as well as from the critics and the media attention. Over the years, we invited quite a few of Taiwanese directors and actors.
You know, those filmmakers we talked about, Ho Xiaoshan, Edward Yan, Chai Ming-liang, they are known to a lot of people, especially in the international film festival world. Chai Ming-liang, I've known him for a very, very long time now. While the other filmmakers, they were interested in projecting a Taiwanese identity. He focused entirely on very intimate personal life and what it means to be an individual, the person's desires. That makes him very, very different. And I'm in fact organizing a retrospective for him at MoMA. It's completely exciting when you get to discover someone new, especially before a lot of other people. Midizzi was pretty fresh when I discovered him. He was making films about his roots as a Chinese-Burmese filmmaker, and I was so totally impressed by his original voice.
Every time I go to Taipei and play a concert, I'm always impressed with how many people from the general public of the city of Taipei and come to watch the concerts. You know, what's happening there is important because I think around the world we need to come together, especially now even more. We need to come together and support each other and realize that there's more that we have in common than that separates us.
I feel like it's paramount that we try to understand and learn from one another. Those cultural bridges can bring peace and understanding and are extraordinarily important at all times. But what could be more important as there becomes more strife between people and countries than to let the arts and the artists help bring peace and harmony?